Thank you very much for coming back to us. I'm joined by three of the most humble people in the paranormal world. None of them want to be called experts, whereas it seems everyone outside this room does, if you look on the internet. No, what I was trying to say with the team expert, the terminology expert, is that you all have an expertise in your chosen fields. You strive to do something without fault. And that, to me, is having some sort of expertise, because you're not just there for the cash. You're not just there because you've got nothing else to do. You're there because you really believe in what you're doing. And you've got three different fields, completely different fields, but three people who believe in the same thing. To strive for the truth.
I've got the passion.
I would be a rotten editor, I think, if I believed myself to be an expert. I am actually an expert in something. If I was going to say I was an expert in anything, it would be Welsh ghost lore. I mean, how narrow is that? So the folklore of ghosts in Wales, that I could say I'm an expert on. Exactly.
So I'd say Welsh playing guitar, but that would be about it.
I thought you said Welsh ghost lore.
I did.
There's ghost lore.
You can have fairy lore, ghost lore, why not? But anyway, the point is, if to be a good editor, I have to rely on other experts. I have to find people who've got expertise in various subjects. And if you like, my skill in that is apart from compiling something which I hope is going to be genuinely entertaining and readable as well as useful and interesting, is just making judgments on those people who I feel that I can trust, who really do give good information. And there are certain areas, I think, where you can have some expertise. I mean, Dr. Carl Schuker, who writes for me regularly, is an expert on cryptozoology, but he's a zoologist. He's got a doctorate in zoology, and is a zoologist, and has studied these things for a very long time, and can make intelligent commentaries on any stories that come up, and that is an expertise. But I certainly do take your point, though, that when in the realm of ghosts in particular, unless you're talking about folklore, is that I get emails from people who want to give me articles about the spirit world and exactly how it's ordered and exactly how ghosts work, and they don't know this stuff. They don't. They think they do. They don't.
Well, this is something we had this discussion in a previous show about how ghosts work, because it's a confusing thing for me. I can't get my head around it, and I mean, what do you think that talking about how ghosts work and the truth behind the information you get, because you as an editor have to look deep into that, and you obviously as an events company you have to give people the truth. You can't just send everyone to a big manor house because it looks pretty and it looks haunted.
I mean, we have to manage expectations, and that's the hardest thing. If I was an expert in anything, it would be managing the expectations of people that come on our events, because you've got 30 people who've all come for very differing reasons, mostly similar but different, and each one of those people has got an expectation of that event, of what they're coming to. And I find I'm a psychotherapist, and that has helped me incredibly on our events. It's helped me to help people to manage their expectations, to sort of put a certain amount of honesty into what they're hoping will happen versus what they want to happen. And that's why I think our events are so successful. Because
you must have people come along as well who just think the whole thing's a joke.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people like that?
Well, usually, and it sounds very harsh, but if we've got 30 people and 5 of those people are coming along, and they're coming along to purely debunk and to take the mickey out of the event, they're isolated. And they'll put them into their own group, and I'll probably take them myself and manage that group, because I don't want those other 25 people having their events.
I was going to say, I was very interested in what you said earlier about the fact that public demand, i.e. people have asked you to do investigations without mediums. Now that's very interesting. I mean, because I'd have thought that, and this was true of some of the programs you've done in the past, where sometimes you felt that the medium were the only entertainment. In other words, they were saying all this stuff, they've picked up on these spirits and that and the other, and almost without them there would be not very much to hang on to. And it's great that people are like...
But this is my point with the stuff that we do outside of Most Haunted. I don't have mediums on. If you talk Minds and Spirits, there's not a medium in sight. Ghosts of, there's not a medium in sight. There's when Yvette does Screaming Banshees, no medium. Because my own personal view on that is that because there is no proof that mediums exist, because there's no actual proof that there's no definitive body saying yes, they do exist. They've been debunked throughout the centuries for being charlatans and the like in the past. But I think when you're sitting on a seance table and you've got a psychic saying, I see an Elizabeth, then everyone's asking for an Elizabeth. Now you're taking one person's view that there is an Elizabeth there. Now there could be a Bob, a Jane, a Pete, something else there that you're completely missing and going on. They could be sitting there in like a big orderly queue going on wait for my name to be called, and it won't be called because you're taking one person's.
I prefer not to. Personally, from a paranormal investigation perspective, I prefer not to use a medium, or if I do, I try to use it more of like a spiritual consultant.
There's a huge power imbalance with mediums, though.
Yeah.
If you've got a medium with you, there's a huge power imbalance between you and the guest and myself. I have never ever, and I've worked with loads of mediums and psychics and sensitives, and not one of those has ever given me a reading. I would never allow them to give me a reading. I never want to have them having any power or control over what they think of me, other than what you might think of me.